I'm Taylor Niven.
And I'm Daniel Shelley.
And you're watching Talk of the Town. Thanks for watching this week's episode of Talk of the Town, your on-campus source for entertainment news. Daniel, you're looking really good today.
Thanks, Taylor.
April Fools.
Ha ha, good one. With April Fools being this week, and Man on the Street, Jay and Courtney went around to find out some of your best April Fools pranks.
After that, Ryan and Khadijah show you some games to play when you're bored in high school headquarters.
What's up, USC? You're here with Man on the Street, and I'm Courtney Thornley.
And I'm Jay Luebke, and we're out on Green Street asking students about the funniest April Fool's jokes that they've pulled.
Let's check it out.
Oh, so I called my parents and I told them that I was arrested. And then I spent the night in jail. And then later in the day I told them that I was not. They were not happy with me.
So when I was little, my dad would come into my room and change the time on my clock and then wake me up and go, "Oh my God, David, you're missing school," and wake me up and freak me out. And then I would, get dressed and run downstairs, and it would be like 3 in the morning.
I hate my sweet mate, so I'm gonna tell her I have crabs because we share a bathroom.
One of my teachers made us write down every word in the dictionary, and we stopped when we got to C, but we thought we had to do the whole thing.
We were going to go into my mom's car to go to school, and he lifted up the front end of it and made it seem like something's wrong. It wasn't that big of a deal, but we're a very paranoid family.
I got pulled out of school early on April Fool's, and it was kind of sick if you think about it. She's like, we have to go, we're moving and blah, blah, blah. We went home and we had boxes in the front yard and all this kind of stuff.
I'm not sure if this is really funny, but I did send my mom a pregnancy test that was positive. So she didn't think it was funny, but my brothers thought it was hilarious because they played along with it.
So I accidentally, on April Fool's Day, I had my dad rearranging my room, and I had one of our old cat toys underneath my dresser, and it was like a rat. And so when he pulled it, he thought there was a rat in my room.
I guess when I was little, I went around the house, and you know at sinks you have a little nozzle to clean off dishes. You take a rubber band and you tape all of them down. The first person who comes and turns on the sink just sprays all over him.
I think I told my mom my sister was pregnant.
Those are some pretty crazy April Fool's jokes. What do you have in mind, Jay?
I think I'm going to bring this goat home with me if I can get him to move, and I'm just going to tell my roommate that he's going to live with us for the rest of the year.
Yeah, that'd be pretty funny.
Well, that's it for Man on the Street. I'm Jay Luebke.
And I'm Courtney Thornley.
We'll see you next time.
Yes! I win!
I'm done with this game, Khadijah.
This week is board games.
April Fools! But seriously, board games.
Ever wish that life had a get out of jail free card? Well, it's probably not gonna happen right now, but Monopoly does. And we consider that one of the best board games of all time, seemingly because you can basically buy land and property and get everyone else's, send people to jail, keep them in there if you want, take their money, basically everything you want in life. Why doesn't Monopoly exist for real?
So, one of my personal favorite games is called Jenga. It's this weird little game where you just stack up wooden blocks and you try to remove the blocks with the whole thing falling over. It's pretty much a board game centered around breaking stuff.
Sorry. Not sorry. No, really, sorry. The board game with the colors and the pawns. The ones that you have to put over the board to get to where you need to go.
Are you ready to see the greatest thing ever created? Pac-Man, the board game. I don't even know how you play it or what you do, but it's awesome. Seriously though, Khadijah and I have a very serious announcement to make right now.
This is the final episode of High Score Headquarters.
We found that we're both just too busy we can't keep doing this. It's cutting into our school time and whatnot. And
April Fools!
You should have seen your face. Seriously.
Coming Coming up, we have a double dose of press pass and fashion.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town. Now, this past month has been filled with events here on campus, so this week we have a double dose of press pass for you. Up first, Matthew and Abby give us an inside look at the Tunnel of Awareness at Patterson Hall.
After that, Michael and some other SGTV staff caught up with Seth Meyers from Saturday Night Live when he stopped here on campus last week.
And then Brittaney gives us an inside look at a fashion show with Fashion Reveal.
Check it out.
Hi, I'm Matthew.
And I'm Abby, and this is Press Pass.
We're here at Patterson Hall to take a look at the Tunnel of Awareness exhibits. Come check it out.
Okay, so Tunnel of Awareness, it's in its third year here at University of South Carolina, and it is basically a social justice awareness program, and it's in the form of a museum-style exhibit, but it's very interactive in the fact that students walk through this with a tour guide, and while they're doing that, they can basically walk through the rooms, touch things, see things, use basically every sense except for speaking. So the different topics we have this year, we include masculinity, education, suicide, HIV, and women in the penal system. And throughout these exhibits, students will be seeing videos, they'll be seeing facts and statistics, they'll be seeing representations of this through things like jelly beans and flags and random things like that. And as they walk through this, they'll be hearing things like they'll be hearing words from people. They'll also be seeing different pictures that are representing this. And a lot of these hit home because they are from South Carolina, but some of them are international also.
I think the statistics impacted me the most because when you think about different topics, you just kind of talk about them, but when you see numbers and you realize that this is real life and this is affecting a lot of people, a lot more people than you thought, then it really impacts you.
I created the Inequalities in Education exhibit. We chose to create that because there are a lot of inequalities in education, and I believe that there needs to be, I guess, more discussion, more conversation going on about the inequalities in education, not just statewide, but also nationally and internationally.
I definitely think the one thing I want them to walk away with is questions, because that way the tunnel awareness will grow from year to year, because I don't think the tunnel awareness could ever really reach a peak. I want every year the tunnel awareness to become a better and greater program at University of South Carolina.
Happiness can be found even in the darkest of times, if one only remembers to turn on the light.
Welcome to a special edition of Press Pass. I'm Michael Duggan with SGTV's Talk of the Town. Tonight at the Koger Center, comedian Seth Meyers performed. Meyers is most notable for his work on Saturday Night Live. He's hosted Weekend Update and is currently the head writer. And after the show, we got an exclusive interview with him.
How much do you tailor your stand-up routines to the area you go to? Do you kind of have a set deal and you kind of look at the city, or is it more?
Well, it depends. Like tonight, it was fun to talk about Mark Sanford. Like that's a guy that I don't normally talk about. And you like to try to be aware of where you are. I think the audience appreciates when they know that you're not just doing the same thing over and over again. So,
being in the spotlight, does that change how, when you're writing a joke, does that really factor in what people will think, or are you more of, if you think it's funny, because you were talking about how you like that one joke that you did that flops everybody.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, there are like jokes that if you believe in them, you kind of keep working on them. You feel like there's going to be a time where you're going to tell it and people are going to like it as much as you. And if you feel strongly about it, I think that's the most important thing. I'd rather tell a joke I feel strongly about and have it not go as well as I think it should than tell a joke I don't like that I know will kill. If that makes sense? So that's the part, is trying to make those ones work. That's the challenge.
So what's the worst joke that you ever told?
Well, I don't know if specifically have a worst joke I ever told, but I've had jokes that have gone really badly. I did say one time we had we sometimes will tell jokes about people who've recently passed away, like somebody who invented the deli sandwich will pass away, and then we'll make a joke about how they were buried with a toothpick through them, and people never like those jokes.
Has anyone gotten mad at you for a joke and contacted you personally?
Only Donald Trump's really the one who got the angriest. He genuinely has written about me in his book about how I'm not funny. So but I like that because he's you can't have a better person be mad at you than Donald Trump.
So, like, besides Weekend Update, you're also a head writer. Is there a cast member that, you specifically like to write for the most, or who brings you material that you like to work with the most?
I like try to write more. Most of my stuff is sort of about topical stuff, so it's less sort of like cast driven. But there are members in our cast who just are like so perfect at everything. Like people like Fred Armisen and Bill Hader. Anytime you write anything for them, they make it so much better. But our whole cast is super talented, so it's really fun to write for them.
Do you have a specific topic you like joking about, especially in Weekend Update, more or less, politics or?
I think politics always has the slightly higher level of difficulty, and so I'm always happy when we can tell a good joke about something that's happening in the news, particularly if it's something that's not necessarily funny at its core. If you can find a way to like deconstruct it and make it funny.
I know a lot of the sketches go from concept to script to production and then air all in 1 week. What are some of the challenges that go into doing that all in 1 week?
Some of the bigger challenges are handled by incredible departments, like our wardrobe department, our hair department, our set design department. I mean, they are the best in the world at what they do. The challenge as a writer is when you start realizing on Friday something's not working, you have to like fix it within the boundaries of what you have. It's not like you can all of a sudden say okay, you know what, this needs to not take place in a doctor's office. It has to take place on a boat. Like that can't happen with only, a day to turn it around. So, but again, what makes the show great is dealing with those challenges and the things that come out when you have to work under those kind of constraints.
I want to ask who are your favorite people who are not cast members, like hosts to work with? I know Justin Timberlake, obviously, but.
Yeah, no, Timberlake's great. I mean, it's always, this year's been really exciting. Like anytime you have somebody with a strong comic voice, like somebody like a Seth MacFarlane or a Louis C.K., that's really exciting. Melissa McCarthy's coming up, and she's like that as well. But we've had people like Bruno Mars, who has the Justin Timberlake type skill set, which is great. And then every now and then you get somebody like Martin Short, who's just like as good at it as anybody has ever been. So those are really fun.
Is there anybody you want on that you're kind of?
Tom Cruise. I think I want Tom Cruise. Yeah.
So Tom Cruise, if you happen to be watching SGTV, Seth Meyers is waiting. For Talk of the Town, I'm Michael Duggan.
We are here in Capstone Auditorium as the glamorous ladies of the Gamma chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated is bringing Miami to USC and its annual Cynthia Purvis fashion show. So let's take a look at the sizzling tidal wave of style.
Sophisticated and sexy was the ultimate example of the fierce runway show, showing off unique one-of-a-kind designs that were handmade specifically for the individual who wants to stand out. Thanks to Salty's Board Shop, who donated a percentage of their sales to the Cynthia Purvis fashion show.
The fashion show is entitled Miami Couture, and it was inspired by our director, Shelley Brown, and co-director, Noel Jones, and they got inspired by New York Fashion Week. So it's a lot of graphic prints, black and white, and a professional scene and nightlife scene.
All right, we're moments away from the Cynthia Purvis fashion show. I am here with
Gavin Sumter
and
Laura Marsh.
All right, so tell me how you two got involved in the Cynthia Purvis fashion show.
Interesting. I think a week before the actual auditions were going on, I was walking down the street from coming from work here, and I saw Noelle across the street. She was like, "Hey, do you model?" And I was like, "Not really." And she said, "We'll be having a fashion show, so come and try out." And I did, and yeah.
All right, what about you?
Yeah, Noelle told my friend about the casting call, so we just both went.
Okay. All right, so tell me, what pieces would you be wearing in the fashion show tonight?
Well, we were asked to actually bring some of our own outfits, so I'll be bringing some things from my wardrobe, and one of the things that I actually made myself, so we'll see what happens.
The annual fashion show is to remember and celebrate the life of Miss Cynthia Purvis.
Well, Cynthia Purvis was a member of the Theta Gamma chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha, and she was initiated in the 1980s, and she was interested in fashion and everything like that and style, but she was killed in a car accident. So ever since then, they've did a fashion show in her honor every year.
You have been watching Fashion with Talk of the Town, Brittaney Chapman.
Coming up, we have Cox.0, Widescreen Weekend, and Gossip.
Up next, Nicole showed you some famous internet pranks with Cox.0. After that, Michael and Sarah teach you how to recreate some famous movie scenes in Widescreen Weekend.
And if you're making a movie after learning all those tips and you're looking for a train wreck to star in your next film, you may want to call up Amanda Bynes. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then Daniel Bowen has all the news and celebrity gossip.
I'm Nicole, and this is Cox.0, your window into the wacky, wonky, World Wide Web. This week, we'll be bringing you some of the best prank videos from all around the web. That was, of course, Rick Astley's 1987 Never Gonna Give You Up. At least 18 million Americans have been rickrolled since the prank started in 2007. Even famous YouTubers are subject to the perils of rickrolling.
I didn't like that at all.
Beautiful. Oh, yep.
No! I refuse!
More beautiful.
Now it's trench coats and bad decisions.
In my mind, however, the zenith of Rick Astley's storied career came in 2010. Half of the Oregon State House legislature rickrolled the other half of the legislature. They did this by sneakily inserting song lyrics into congressional discussion.
Make sure you understand.
I'm never going to give you up.
I'll never let you down.
We're not going to run around and desert you.
Now, this was done by a bipartisan coalition, which is really exciting for me as a poly major, because it shows that politicians of different ideological stripes can come together to achieve a common objective, if that goal is trolling. Okay, so now we have some of the requisite potty humor. I don't really know how to introduce this video except by telling you that you know something has gone wrong when exiting a porta potty is more disturbing than going into the porta potty. So if hiring an entire team of Japanese business people is too much expense for your next April Fool's prank, here's another idea.
You're not gonna get me again.
Our next video has to be one of the greatest YouTube videos of all time. The first time I saw this video, I was like, and you thought you'd never cry over spilt milk. And that concludes the terrible puns section of Cox.0 and brings us to the web recommendation of the week. This week, it's OMFG, it's Jack and Dean. In the spirit of April Fools and pranks and whatnot, I encourage you to go out and watch Super Glued.
I've superglued my hands together.
Have you considered prayer?
And Pronunciation Frustration.
Backy book.
Thanks for watching. This has been
Welcome to Widescreen Weekend.
Since April Fool's is this week, we decided to help you fool your friends thinking your reenactments of movies are real.
We'll take you through all the elements that you need to make a perfect scene, starting with costuming and acting.
So, for a prime example, we decided to do Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Wrong, sir. It states very clearly in the contract signed by him that all offers shall be null and void if, and you can read it for yourself in this photostatic copy, I, the undersigned, shall forfeit all rights, privileges, and licenses herein and herein contained, etc., etc., fax mentis incendium gloria cultum, etc., memo bis punitor delcatum. It's all there, black and white, clear as crystal. You stole fizzy Lipton drink, you bumped into the ceiling which now has to be washed and sterilized, so you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir. Wow, I didn't know we were allowed to take clips directly from movies like that.
Could have fooled me.
But now that you have acting in your scene, you're gonna need to shoot it. And no kind of movie has more distinct camera work than action movies.
So, to show you the shaky and fast-paced action of an action movie, we decided to go with this scene from The Bourne Identity.
I still don't even remember what happened there.
However, good camera work and acting are useless unless you have a good storyline.
So to show a good example of some quality writing, we reenacted this scene from The Departed. What the did you
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't do a scene from The Departed.
The last step for your scene is visual effects.
And to do this, we decided to choose a clip from a movie that totally revolutionized visual effects, which is Avatar.
And I know what you're thinking. Avatar is mostly CGI, so how are we gonna do this?
We were lucky enough to get our hands on some motion capture equipment.
First, we start with these dots on her face. Then, with the magic of editing, poof, a perfect 3D model of Sarah as one of the Na'vi. Now we just add in the rest of the scene, and...
You will never be one of the people!
James, I'll be waiting for my call to work on Avatar 2.
So just follow these steps and you'll be able to fool anyone, even your friends, into believing that your reenactments are from real Hollywood movies.
And maybe your next movie will make it into theaters and be on the next Widescreen Weekend.
Hey guys, it's Daniel here with this week's Celebrity Gossip, and we need to get right down to it because I have so much planned to talk to you about today. April Fools! We're only talking about two things today because I didn't plan this before I turned the camera on. But that's okay, people do that on the internet all the time. That's why there's so many quality videos out there. So the real reason we don't have much to talk about is because there's nothing more interesting going on right now than Amanda Bynes, who, if you're not following on Twitter, A, what is wrong with you? And B, go do that right now. I mean, there's the heartfelt love notes to Drake, which, I'm not gonna show you because they're really sweet and I don't want anybody to get teary-eyed. And then there's also those selfies where she looks like a hot mess, which I will show you right now. I just hope this is all one big April Fool's Day joke and she's just pulling one over on all of us. I also hope she gives Rita Ora her wig back. Now moving on to something Kim Kardashian probably hopes is an April Fool's Day joke, her baby. She hates this baby, y'all. I mean, I don't know if you're following her on Instagram, but every Throwback Thursday, she posts pictures of her old body and reminisces about how skinny she used to be. And listen, here's what I have to say to you, Kim. Even though when we all look at you, the only thing we can think about is how fat you are and how you'll never have your old body ever again, just at the end of this, you're gonna have a beautiful blessing who stays up with you all night and will probably grow up to hate you and spend all that money you somehow have. But it'll probably get a reality show. Silver Linings, Playbook, good movie. J-Law. All right, that wraps up your gossip this week. It was a lot to take in, I know. Sorry for all of that information, but you're also welcome. Tune in next time, bye.
Thanks for tuning in with this week's episode.
See you next time for more Talk of the Town.